I found the voicemail 2 weeks after the funeral. It was labeled home, a simple, single word. I'd never listened to it. I couldn't bring myself to. Not until the nights started getting strange. Every night, just after midnight, my phone would light up the dark room. A single notification, one new voicemail. From his number. My late husband's number. For days, I ignored it. I told myself it was a glitch, a cruel trick of technology. But the notifications kept coming, a digital ghost tapping on my screen. Finally, one night, trembling, I pressed play. I braced myself to hear his voice, a final message I'd somehow missed. But the recording began with an unnerving silence. A deep, heavy quiet. Then, a soft sound, like warm breath fogging up cold glass. A whisper followed, a sound that felt ancient and wrong, something that wasn't mine to understand. It was a woman's voice. And that voice knew my name. Claire, she said, her voice slow and syrupy, like poisoned honey. Don't be afraid. My hands shook so hard the phone almost slipped from my grasp. I played it again. And again. Each time, I heard more. The recording was a tapestry of unsettling sounds. On the second listen, I could make out footsteps. Slow, deliberate steps echoing in a hallway that sounded just like mine. Then, the sound of something heavy being shifted. A chair, maybe, being dragged across a wooden floor. Beneath it all, the woman's voice hummed a lullaby. A chill snaked down my spine. It was the same lullaby my husband used to sing to me when I couldn't sleep. This was wrong. It was wrong for so many reasons. I frantically called my sister, my voice cracking. She listened patiently and then offered the logical explanation I was desperate for. It's just a glitch, Claire. A crossed wire. Delete it, she urged. Don't torture yourself. But I couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to erase it. That night, I started a journal. A logbook of the sounds. I wrote down the small, whispered phrases I could decipher, like a shopping list for ghosts. Lights off, don't look, close the door. On the third night, the voicemail came again. This time, it was longer. The whisper had sharpened into full sentences. The voice spoke about the house, about our house. It described a room I didn't have, a hidden room, a space asterisk beneath the stairs asterisk. It described the smell of this phantom room, mold powder, and the cold, sharp scent of iron. It told a story. A story about a man who promised he would return, but never did. And then, a horrifying realization washed over me. This voice, it had been here before. It had been in my house before my husband came home that final, awful day. It had watched him sleep. It had whispered into the phone's receiver on the nights I wasn't there. It knew the specific creak of our third floorboard. It knew the high-pitched whistle of our kettle. It knew me. The next day, I took the phone to a repair shop, my heart pounding. The technician, a young guy with kind eyes, hooked it up to his computer. He ran every scan he could think of. After an hour, he shook his head. There's no trace of tampering, he said, looking confused. No external call logs for these messages. The file is internal. It's generating from inside the phone itself, someone with access. My stomach twisted into a knot. That night, like clockwork, the voicemail arrived. The woman's voice was different now, urgent. It repeated a time. 3 passed, over and over. I stared at my digital clock, watching the numbers climb. At exactly 3:03 a.m., the lights in my bedroom flickered once, twice, then went out. And then, my bedroom door, which I had locked, creaked open on its own. I've always been a skeptic. I don't believe in ghosts. But when your own house starts to breathe at night, logic doesn't mean a thing. The next night, I decided to fight back. I left my phone on the hallway floor, its recorder running. I waited. At 3:03 a.m., the microphone picked up a faint, distant tapping. 3 distinct knocks. Pause. Then 3 knocks again. A clear, deliberate rhythm. As if something or someone was answering a call. When I listened back to the recording, my blood ran cold. Beneath the sound of the knocking, there was singing. Faint, but unmistakable. The same lullaby. But this time, there were 2 voices. My husband's voice and hers humming together in a ghostly harmony. Sleep became a luxury I could no longer afford. In a desperate move, I removed the SIM card from my phone and threw it away. But it didn't matter. The voicemails continued. They just appeared as new audio files in my storage, with no timestamp, no phone number, no source. One morning, a new message arrived. It was just one word. Leave. Then, the woman's voice, clearer than ever. Leave while you can, Claire. He will not be back. That was it. I packed a bag, threw it in my car, and left. I checked into a cheap motel 60 miles away. For 2 nights, there was silence. Blessed, wonderful nothing. No messages. No whispers. No knocks in the dark. I almost allowed myself to feel safe. On the 3rd night, my phone pinged. A new file. No subject. My hands were slick with sweat as I pressed play. I heard my husband. His voice was filled with a sorrow so deep it felt like an abyss. Claire, he said, I'm so sorry. I can't come home. And then, right after, her voice, soft and impossibly close to the microphone, whispered, don't open the hatch. A hatch. What hatch? I didn't know what she meant. I had to know. Against my better judgment, I drove back to the house. I went straight to the space under the stairs, a small closet where we stored old coats. I pulled at the faded wallpaper. And there it was. Hidden behind the floral pattern, a small, square wooden hatch, its metal rim rusted, the paint flaking away. My breath caught in my throat. I lifted it open. A smell billowed up from the darkness below, cold metal, damp salt, and ancient dust. A narrow, rickety ladder led down into absolute blackness. And there, on the bottom rung, half buried in the dirt, was a small, tin toy soldier. Beside it, imprinted in the dust, were tiny, child-sized footprints. That evening, another voicemail arrived. It was 7 minutes long. It was the sound of my husband laughing, a sound I had loved, now twisted into something monstrous. And woven through his laughter was her whisper, he is keeping it warm for them. I called the police. They searched the crawl space. They found nothing but old dirt and a few forgotten toys. No sign that anyone had been down there in decades. No explanation for the footprints or the smell. The messages kept coming. They described the house as if it were alive, a hungry mouth that swallowed memories. I knew I couldn't stay. I sold the house for a loss, changed my number, and moved to a new city, hundreds of miles away. I started over. But one night, months later, my new phone buzzed. A notification. A voicemail. The caller ID simply read home. With a sense of grim inevitability, I played it in the dark. It was my husband's voice, a faint, ethereal whisper, pulling at me from across the distance. Come, I never went back. I will never go back. But sometimes, I dream of that house. I dream of the small hatch under the stairs, breathing quietly in the dark. And in the dream, a phone glows softly on a table, waiting for me to answer the call. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoy these kinds of tales from the dark, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps and ensures you won't miss what comes next. Stay safe out there.